On today's episode of Factions Compared, we examine stealth ships of the Star Wars universe. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Factions Compared. It's been a while since we've touched this series, so if there's a matchup or a video you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments. Today, we will be examining stealth ships of the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances, the New Republic, the Empire, and the Old Republic in order to determine which stealth ship is the best. Now, best doesn't mean which ship would win in a head-to-head fight, but rather which is most functional and most well-designed. Let's start off with the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances, which, for those who don't know, was the successor state to the New Republic and the Jedi StealthX. And yes, I did say Jedi, and that's the most interesting thing about this fighter. The StealthX is, more than any craft in Star Wars history, as I explained in a prior video, optimized for Jedi use. A squadron of Jedi flying StealthXs were almost undetectable, but let's look at the ship itself. Unlike some of the other entries on this list, the StealthX did not actually disappear, visually at least. And we see this specifically when Jaina and Luke attack Jason in the Anakin Solo. That, by the way, is a really confusing sentence for those who haven't read Legacy of the Force. Anyway, though the craft wasn't completely invisible, it was hard to see, it was completely matte black, but more importantly, it was invisible on sensors, and its sensor hiding features were the most advanced of any ship on this list, probably by far in fact. And just generally, I would guess, on a pure stealth and reconnaissance mission, the StealthX is an amazing choice, not only because of its stealth features, but also its highly advanced sensor systems and onboard computers. Also uniquely, the StealthX had a signature weapon which could be fired while stealth is maintained, specifically the Jedi Shadow Bomb. However, that required a Force user to physically move the ordnance. So I can't give a full point to the ship there, but that extra functionality I think is worth considering. Jedi pilots would also maintain their stealth profile by performing battle meditations and mind melds, however, that's not a function of the ship. Aside from the aforementioned features, the StealthX was basically an extremely expensive but stripped down X-Wing. The biggest thing the craft gave up, of course, was its armor plating and the strength of its shields. Next up we have the Empire and the TIE Phantom. The Phantom certainly used significantly more primitive cloaking technology than the StealthX, coming some 40 years earlier, and it relied on the expensive and hard to find Stygium crystals. Unlike most TIE models, the Phantom was extremely expensive. It had onboard life support systems, it had a hyperdrive, and the pilot could actually operate independently from Imperial capital ships. Unlike the StealthX, which did have more advanced sensor hiding systems, the TIE Phantom could actually achieve complete visual invisibility. This made the ship effective at taking out enemy starfighters. The Phantom could actually get close enough to guarantee a kill. What's more, it seemed like after firing, the cloaking could be reactivated fairly quickly, making a squadron of TIE Phantoms extremely difficult to deal with. This was especially true given the fact that the Phantom had 5 laser cannons, 1 on the tip of each wing and 2 under the cockpit. The Alliance took the TIE Phantom threat very seriously, largely because it represented the first starfighter-sized cloaking-capable ship. Next up, we move to the Clone Wars and the Old Republic with their stealth ship. Now, unlike the previous 2 entries, this vessel was Corvette rather than starfighter sized, and I actually think that makes a lot of sense for a stealth vessel. Sure, the X-Wing is good for reconnaissance, and the TIE Phantom is good for anti-starfighter, but the stealth ship can probably do both of those functions and can also attack capital ships, especially with its proton torpedoes. Like the Phantom, the stealth ship is both hidden visually and from sensors. It could cloak and decloak extremely quickly, was rather agile, but did seem to be vulnerable to a form of magnetic tracking. Now, it's unclear to me whether that was only because the ship decloaked and Trench was able to get a lock on it, or whether the vulnerability would have existed totally. However, we do know ships like the StealthX specifically protect against this. The stealth vessel most likely used pretty simple technology, but its sheer size gives it a nice degree of versatility. As we see with Anakin in the Clone Wars, it can slip past blockades and pick up people planetside. I'm sure it could do reconnaissance, it has anti-fighter lasers, and of course, it has proton torpedoes. So, all in all, a nice and functional vessel. As a note, given its size, it also seems like the perfect ship for a smuggler. But anyway, let's take a look at the final vessel on today's list. And I wasn't really sure what to choose. There were a bunch of personal ships that had cloaking devices, like the Rogue Shadow or the Scimitar, as well as normal ships with cloaking capabilities, like Thrawn's Dreadnoughts or the Terror Super Star Destroyer. And instead I went with the New Republic's Ferret class. As you might guess by the name, the Ferret is essentially a reconnaissance vehicle, and an unmanned one at that. Unlike the other ships of this list, the Ferret was designed not at all for combat and almost exclusively for stealth. This was reflected in every aspect of the hull design, the technology included, the way the systems were modified, and even the choice to have the vessel fully automated. It was less of a spaceship and more like a drone. It could sit in one place for a long period of time, just taking in data. It could also explore difficult to navigate systems, enemy positions, anywhere where you don't want to risk actually losing lives. In the Black Fleet crisis, ferrets are used to track down the elusive Tel'Jikon vagabond and are described as almost totally inert. Still, they are incredibly useful tools to the New Republic. Kraken's threat dossier explains that, on paper, ferrets don't even exist. They'll self-destruct rather than be captured, and if they are crewed, no efforts will be made to recover any personnel. Their weapons are mostly to feign destruction, alongside sensor buoys and fake ferret traps, and they move extremely slowly, controlled by the droid brain, typically observing enemy fleet formations or assessing defenses. They are absolutely cutting edge, and each ferret cost millions of credits. With our 4 ships out of the way, let's rank them from worst to best. Coming in at number 4, and this may surprise some of you, is the StealthX. Now, I think the StealthX is a great ship when operated by Jedi. The use of shadow bombs, however, and the Jedi communications techniques will not be useful to an ordinary pilot. They're left with a ship that's really most effective for sniffing enemy communications, something that the number 3 vessel, the Ferret, I think does much better. Notably, both of these ships, the Ferret and the StealthX, do not actually have visual cloaking capabilities, yet are the best pure stealth vessels on the list, and I wonder whether the stealth ship from the Clone Wars and the TIE Phantom only have the visual effects for our purposes, in other words, to show the watcher/player what's going on. I really like the Ferret, however, it's just so specialized that I think it's harder to put it up any higher on this list. That being said, if I was talking pure reconnaissance ships, I think it would be number 1. Next up at number 2 is the TIE Phantom. The TIE Phantom is great. It's basically everything most TIEs aren't. It's shielded, it's well armed, it has life support, and it has hyperdrive. It can operate independently, it can take out entire squadrons of starfighters on its own, and really the only thing holding it back from the number 1 spot is the inherent limitations of it being a starfighter. That being said, in dogfights or close range encounters especially, I think the visual cloaking actually gives it a fairly significant advantage over the StealthX. That leaves, surprisingly, the oldest ship on the list at number 1, the Clone Wars era stealth ship. And really, the thing that put the stealth ship ahead for me was its sheer versatility. It can run a blockade, attack capital ships, transport very important persons, and basically do anything else, including what the TIE Phantom would do, attacking starfighters. I do think it probably has the worst stealth system of any ship on this list due to its older technology, but I think it's very fast, it's well armed, and as I've said, it's versatile. However, that's just my opinion. I'm wondering, which ship do you think deserves the number 1 spot? Should I have included the Scimitar or something else that would have made the list? Let me know all of that and more down below. No question of the day today because I still am on vacation and I don't want to add extra time to this video, but I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on that bell, and consider following me on social media. I've been trying to grow my Twitter and Instagram, which is mostly memes, as much as possible. Anyway, until next time guys, this has been EckhartsLadder. As always, be safe and may the Force be with you.